All right, for the record, it is May 20th, 2021, and this is our AMO and BDA training, weekly training. The last few weeks, we have had carriers come in, Global Atlantic, AIG Partners Group, Mutual of Omaha. But today we're going to take a break and just have a conversation amongst ourselves. And really, there's a few things that we'll go over, and then we're just going to kind of leave it open. And I know, like I said, it's Jeff and me, but for everyone that's jumping on the recording, this will be good for everyone to hear about. But the main focus that we're going to talk about is I want to do reviews on the past 3 trainings between Mutual of Omaha, Global Atlantic, and AIG Partners Group. And we'll talk about any tidbits and things that we've been able to use throughout the weeks on that. The next thing that I want to do is, Jeff, you're going to be familiar with this, but Jeff and the Wella team did a presentation. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of that presentation, because this presentation is what everyone should be using, whether it's in a group setting or individual setting, to really directly express the value proposition of what we're doing and also be direct in what we're asking for from them. So we're going to do a very quick walkthrough. It'll be on recording, so you know what each slide looks like. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is a little bit about event-based marketing and some of the things that we have down the pipeline. And then we'll leave it open for questions. Again, we probably won't take the full hour and a half this time, because we don't have a carrier or a special vendor coming in. But that's our agenda for today, and we'll get started on that end. With that said, let's take a step back and start with the first one. So we're going to talk about the 3 vendors. So we had Mutual of Omaha come up first. Jeff, this is where your note-taking abilities will come in handy. But before I jump into my end of just doing a recap, because I took some notes as well, from your perspective, Jeff, based on Brad Coffin coming in and having that conversation, what were the major takeaways that you got from what he talked about on his end about Mutual of Omaha?
That their product portfolio is extensive.
Mm-hmm.
And his specific area is in the life.
Yeah.
And where and how the ULs fit within the marketplace.
Perfect. I would agree with that as well. And then just a couple of things on Mutual of Omaha on this, whether it made official, their GUL is officially going away as of June. And other carriers have GULs are going to be a dying breed, but I'm not going to get on a side note about that. We won't get on a soapbox, but that's going to be going away in June. Everything that Jeff said is exactly right on. Looking through a few of my notes, one of the things, and I wasn't completely aware of this, is they actually do have some microsites. So the discoveriul.com microsite, that's useful. And then the other thing that I was mentioned is they have, you can download in the App Store or in your Play Store, their quoting tool. And it doesn't need a login to get access to. So you can run all of their quotes straight from that tool. So that's useful to know. You're just going to get prices. You're not going to get the full illustration. You can do that on WinFlex, but important to mention that there are some tools that you can utilize, and you can have agents. Hey, this is where it is. If you're the one that's showing them that stuff, that creates a you're the expert. You know where materials are kind of idea. So always good to be aware of those concepts and where things are at. But of that, yeah, we'll leave that alone on Mutual of Omaha. Very robust product line. Go ahead.
No, there's one other area that I think that is attractive is their children's insurance whole life plan.
Yes.
Very limited underwriting, very cost competitive.
Mhm.
You can add a guaranteed insurability option to it.
Yep.
So you're potentially guaranteeing somebody it's in their youth insurance at guaranteed standard rates. So regardless of how their health is, if there's a turn in a health issue, all they have to do is sign, and they have potentially up to what, about $300,000 of coverage.
Yeah, I have to look at what it is. I think it like doubles a few different times depending on what you're starting off with. So if you start, I think the maximum is 50,000, just that you can start with, and then at certain ages it would double, and then be able to, or I think it adds 50,000 each time. We can look at exactly what it is, but yeah, I think it gets somewhere close to that amount basically.
Yeah, but just to know what's out there, because as I say, it sounded from the way Brad talked, is that the underwriting is attractive.
Yeah, and I would say just for mine, I mean, because I've sold a bunch of, well, I wouldn't say a bunch. I've sold some of their children's whole life. Very easy process, very cost-effective policies. You're not talking about the IULs and overfunding and things like that. It's built off of a whole life chassis, but it actually over a long period of time it develops some cash value, and very easy product to sell as an add-on. Like, it's anybody that has kids or grandkids, easy product to sell for a great value. And then you can do other insurance on top of that. But I've always considered the children's whole life to be like, if you're going to get a policy for the kids, get that as your base. Anything else that you bring on afterwards is great. Like if you want to do an IUL on top of it, but that is an awesome policy to write. Very easy and simple. The only other thing I'll say is just on their IUL, they have the most simplistic chassis in the IUL space. They only have 3 crediting strategies. It's S&P 500, 0% bottom floor, and then they have a few different options for caps and participation rates. But they have literally one of the lowest costs of insurances in the industry. So they do have a sweet spot for older clients, like probably that 50, even 55 to 65 range, that are putting a decent amount of money into the policy. And you'll see that even over a period of time for people in their 20s or 30s, over a period of time, that cost structure makes a big difference. And that's very hard to see directly within a illustration, but that's an important factor. And they've been, with Mutual Home, they've been very consistent with that message, where a lot of other carriers, like I use an example, like North American had a great, their new Builder 2 product is good, but they had another product a few years ago and was very competitive, was very good. But that same product now, I think, has a 8% cap. I may be misquoting, but it's a lot lower cap than what it used to, and it doesn't look nearly as attractive. And I can say that because I actually have one of those policies.
Speaking firsthand.
Yeah. I saw the caps drop and drop and drop and drop. But that's what I mean. Like Mutual Home staying consistent with their message. They haven't changed their caps, their floors, their participation rates, very, very little, if anything, throughout those years. And that says a lot, because there's other companies that use that to get market share, but then don't follow through with the promise afterwards. And that affects clients as well. So finding carriers that what their message is going to be and where it's going to be in the future is a pretty big deal in the IUL space. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would say about Mutual Omaha. There's a bunch of other things that we can go into, but use those tidbits and those little messages to be able to talk about it. Mutual Omaha is a carrier that a lot of people have, but I will say it's like they have 4 different departments, and there's some places that only have contracts with the simplified issue side of the product line, not the life side. Or there's people that do ancillary products, but they don't do Medicare or other things, because their 4 divisions are I'll say their regular life side, So their IUL, their term life answers, their GIUL. That's usually, some of them go through accelerated underwriting, but it's usually a lot of times there's medical underwriting to it. Then they have their express issue side or simplified issue side, which is their final expense product, their term life express product that only goes up to like $300,000 or $350,000 of insurance, depending on the age. But it's simplified issue. Like there's very little medical questions that can get issued literally within a few days. And then they have an IUL Express as well. And then they have their ancillary product line, which is their long-term care, their accidental policies, cancer policies, things like that. So that's a third division. And then they have their Medicare division as well. So just be aware of that. And then in the note, because we've been dealing with this actually with agents right now, is if someone's getting contracted with them, make sure that Alexandra, who does the contracting, knows which department they're going to get contracted with, because that will cause problems because all they'll go into Assurance Bay is click on, Mutual of Omaha or United of Omaha, and Alexandra will receive that. Contracting will get sent out, but maybe they needed the express products and she doesn't know which one it is. So she does the life insurance one just to get them started. And then they write a policy and they realize, oh, I don't actually have a writing number for the express products. I have it for these products. And then they have to rewrite the case, have to go back to their client. It looks bad on us. It looks bad on them. So if we can prevent that as much as possible up front, that'd be great. But I would say that concludes Mutual of Omaha. We could talk a lot more about it. But like I said, use those things to have that conversation. That's what the path I was going down, is that there are a lot of people contracted with Mutual of Omaha. But it's more so finding the reason of, even if they're contracted, why they should be using Mutual of Omaha in their product portfolio. And maybe there's not a lot of people that have been showing them how to do that in different areas. So I'd say that. So let's move on real quick to AIG Partners Group then. So, and Jeff, since it's you and me, we're going to cap ourselves at 8 minutes for this.
It's jinx, because you're reading my mind, because I think we could spend like 2 hours on this company.
I do think so. So, just from your end, 1-2 minutes, what are the most important things that you know about AIG Partners Group?
Wow. Where do I begin? To capsize it, I'd say it's a win-win for everybody. And
Gotcha.
what I mean by that is their portfolio, their entire portfolio, you'll find competitive for the consumer, and it'll be extremely attractive to present from an agent's point of view, producer's point of view, for compensation.
Mm-hmm. So define that. Like those are, I'm an agent, and you said it's win-win. Well, I don't even know what that means. Compensation, products. How would you put that in an actual capsule that oh, sorry, if you need to.
No, that's right. From the agent's point of view, that they are geared to be an independent, but they offer career benefits, is how I view them. For one thing, they are the only company that I know of that has a bonus program for compensation, that if once you hit $30,000 of annualized commission on their entire life portfolio, you now earn 20%. Your commissions are increased by 20%. So it's a very attractive feature. They have conventions. They have, which a lot of their destinations are very attractive. So from the producer's point of view.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep this. So, this is something that's actually in the band files as well. But I put this together a little while ago because we've done a lot of business with AIG Partners Group. putting in a capsule, I would use these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points to talk about what they're doing as easily as possible. So limited distribution product line, there's probably only about 10,000 agents, maybe a little bit more at this point, that are contracted with them. It is different than the AGL side. So that's good to know. And the biggest difference is, is that they have living benefits on their entire, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Limited distribution product. That's a good bullet point. 20. So the way that put that within that is that they get a 20% production bonus. If they want to know more details, great, let's talk about it. But on any target premium above $30,000 in a calendar year for any individual agent. So, and then I would use, what I would do in that example is use an example. So that they can see actually what that looks like. So if you did $50,000 of target premium for the whole year, that means you would get your commission plus then a $4,000 bonus check at the beginning of the next calendar year, because they take away the first 30,000 and then they add 20,000, multiply that by 20%. That's a $4,000 bonus check. It's as simple as that. So that puts extra money in your pocket for doing the same exact thing that you're doing anyways. Living benefits, critical, chronic, and terminal illness riders, term insurance. This is unique within their portfolio as well. They have a 10-year and then a 15 through 30 year and a 35-year term, which most carriers don't have. So that's important to mention in doing mortgage protection or laddering policies. Now, if they can get their act together and get some accelerated underwriting going on, then we could write a lot more of that term insurance. But outside of that being said, they're still competitively priced with living benefits and doing laddering. Like I just had one of the agents do one of these last week for a client. Has 3 term policies and an IUL with AIG Partners Group. And I should mention I'm going to put this on here, the QOL Advantage. That by doing multiple discounts, doing multiple policies, they get discounts on each of those policies. They waive the policy fees and things like that, and that saved them quite a bit of money. No one else can beat that price with the Advantage and the laddering. Competitive IULs, so extremely competitive IULs, boasting a fairly low cost of insurance, 2 uncapped indices, and a robust list of riders. And now with their underwriting for IULs, it goes up to $1 million under the age of 50, and it's going to go through accelerated underwriting first for their IULs. And on top of that, one of their indices, they're both uncapped indices, but one of them has a 110 participation rate right now. So, and then last is the access to literally probably the most resources any carrier has that you don't have to log in for. The life playbook, the annuity playbook, the Business Development Institute. Those are all something that that's a huge benefit. So this page that has these links and stuff like that is in the band, but I think that's a good way of, those 6 points are probably the highlights for AIG Partners Group. All right, we're at our minute. So we're done with AIG Partners Group. The only thing that I will mention about them as well is, again, remember, they're one of the few places that have 3 separate departments as well. So when an agent's getting contracted with AIG, we have to specify with Alexandra, and Alexandra for the most part knows when any one of our people get contracted with AIG, they're looking at probably AIG Partners Group, unless we specifically tell her otherwise. But they have the AGL side, which is the brokerage side. Tons of people are contracted with them. They don't have living benefits. They have the terminal illness, but they don't have living benefits built into the policy. Then you have AIG Partners Group, And then you have AIG guaranteed issue whole life. So those are 3 separate contracts, but they're going to show up as American General in SureLC. So again, Alexandra needs to know which one that they want to get contracted with. So a simple email to her saying, hey, this agent's going to get contracted with American General. They're looking for AIG Partners Group. Good note to have.
Yeah, the term is referred to as QOL with partners and select with brokerage.
Yep, correct. So that's AIG Partners Group. Next one that we'll go on to real quick is Global Atlantic. Jeff, I know you were pretty interactive with that training, and that's a little fresher because that was last week. So same thing.
Yeah, but I was also a little late to the party.
Oh, that's right. You were a little late to the party. So I'll fill in some blanks, but just from what you put together, what were some of the notes on your end?
Mine were primarily with the ForCare, where it has it's geared towards long-term care.
Yep.
You can get 2 times or 3 times the benefit. And that is based on how the questionnaire is completed. If all your answers are no on that questionnaire, then they are eligible to get 3 times. And if there's any questions answered yes, then that'll determine that they'll get the maximum of 2 times the benefit.
Absolutely. And that is a great product.
Yeah.
I liked their, you didn't really see it. I'm going to post all the information because he sent it to me a couple days afterwards, the presentations that he used, the PDFs and all those resources. But I liked how he put it into 3 different lanes. So you have the fast lane, you have the slow lane, and then you have the emergency lane. So products that fit within each of those portfolios was on the fast lane. That was the choice accumulation, the SE income 150, and the choice income as well. And those are either income annuities or accumulation annuities. And those are good products. One of the favorite ones is the SE 150. So a special edition is what the SE stands for. But that gives a 20% bonus on the first, when they start the policy. And then a 7.5 guaranteed interest roll-up, guaranteed simple interest roll-up. Every year they defer for 5 years. And then on the 10th year, they give 150% credit of whatever was credited if you still deferred it that long over that 10-year period of time. So whatever the accumulation of that, they multiply that by 150, and that's what you get, an extra bonus on top of that in the 10 years. The other thing about their product is that they're flexible. So you can turn on income at any time, which is a big deal because the big competitors, that's a 10-year time frame. So good product line on that line, and the comp is really good too.
Okay, Nathan, quickly,
Yep.
The 20% bonus is pretty self-explanatory. It's but on the roll-up, so that I'm clear, and you're saying 150% if they go the full 10 years.
Yep.
On the interest that's been earned over that period of time.
Yes.
So to put it to numbers, if you got $10,000 of interest, they're going to give you 150% of that in addition.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So in that case, they would get another, so it's 100. So you'd get, it's basically, the math would be $5,000 more.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to.
No,
so,
just as long as so I'm clear on it, that it's on the interest that has accumulated over that 10-year period.
Correct.
They go the full, okay.
And they have good materials that lay that out. And talk about what that looks like. So as an example, because I can get there pretty quickly. So income 150. So this is one of those microsites. Here's some of the materials. So income boost. So they use the exact example.
Yeah.
So here it is. So at year 10, they'd get 150% of any interest earned during the first 9 years of their annuity. Hypothetically, they earned $50,000 in interest. By year 10, their withdrawal basis would be credited 150% of that amount, or $75,000, to bring their withdrawal basis value to $375,000. So that's a big bonus if they defer for 10 years. Now, they don't get that if they don't defer it. But if they wait that long for the 10-year, that's a really large bonus. So I correct myself. It wasn't a $5,000 bonus. It'd be $15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the numbers we use it'll be on the illustration. So,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, when we're talking about it, because someone might ask us, well, how does that work? Being able to know numbers, at least basically, well, I can get you materials. Here it is in writing. But that's good to know.
Yeah, the other feature that's attractive on that plan is the long-term care benefit as well.
Yep, the double it for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's a good. Yep, and that's pretty consistent. There's a decent amount of other carriers that have that across the board, but if they didn't have it, then they wouldn't be competitive in that space either. So, but anyways, that's the left-hand lane. Those 3 products: choice accumulation, choice income, and SE1 income 150. Then you have the middle lane, which is their SPIA and their fixed interest product. And not much to talk about there. They don't do a lot of business in that arena. But I think if I'm looking at my notes, their sweet spot is period certain for 5 to 10 years. In like the 50s, age 50s or something like that, or 60s or somewhere close to there. But that was good to know. And then, on that, a choice accumulation product, they have an enhanced death benefit rider as well. And that was something that's pertinent because the enhanced death benefit rider is probably it's one of the better ones that I've seen. It has a 0.5% interest. 0.5% cost fee associated with it, which is lower than I've seen ones that are 2 times that, 1 or 1.5% to have an enhanced death benefit rider. And what it does is it gives a 7% simple interest guaranteed roll up, unless for whatever reason the interest beats that. But a 7% simple interest roll up, and that stays in effect for 15 years.
So it's the greater of the 2.
Yep, it's greater of the 2. And the big deal with that, though, was the idea that, like I said, because I looked at some other carriers, because I actually had an agent that was looking for this, and other carriers, like the client had to live for 5 years for them to get the enhanced death benefit rider. There's a couple carriers that had that on there. So this one, if they died, if they made it to past the annual policy of year 1, they'd get that 7% simple interest roll up. That would be the enhanced death benefit. If they passed away, that would go on to their beneficiaries. So in this case, we had someone that, and there's no medical underwriting to it, because if they die before the first year, they don't get the 7% interest. But so we literally have someone that has cancer, probably has been told they have probably like 2-3 years to live, and he's trying to figure out the best way to maximize some money that he has, and that's a perfect fit for it. He's not going to use it for income or anything like that. They have some other assets, but just wants to leave a bigger benefit in qualified money. And so this was a great fit for it. It's probably going to be close to $100,000 easy sale right there for the agent. But so that's on that side. Middle lane is that 4 care and 4 certain products. We won't talk a lot about that. And then on the right hand lane is what you mentioned with the 4 care. which is that 2 to 3 times multiplier. So very good product portfolio in the annuity world, and they're also not as heard of as much. They used to be called Forethought, so not a lot of people know Global Atlantic. There's not tons of people that are contracted with them. They're gaining market share, but they're not a big player yet. So use that to your advantage. That's why we brought in them, because people don't know as much about them, and they have a good product portfolio. So they should have that within what they're doing. All right. Those are 3 carriers that we've talked about. We're going to bring in more carriers as we're going along, but I think that's a good recap, getting near the end of the month of the last 3 times that we've talked about. So use that information when you're talking to agents. Those are carriers you can pivot to, asking about, well, what case you're working on, or here's, a recommendation for a carrier that you should have in your product portfolio. Oh, you don't have them. We would love to earn that business, and this is how they fit. So that's that end. I'm going to flip real quick. And like I said, I'm going to do a very 5, maybe 10-minute version tops of this. And Jeff, you can time me. But, and I'm going to do it. I didn't take off all this stuff because there's no reason to, but Wella, you guys at Wella did this presentation. So I'm going to put this in the Google Drive. I'm also going to put this on band, so that everyone has access to it. You can either change the logo around, or you can ask us to do it ourselves for anybody that is going to be using this. But this presentation that we're going to go over is the core presentation, whether you're doing a group setting or whether you're doing an individual setting. And you can do this in a shortened time span, but we spent a decent amount of time putting this together with some of our past resources and what we've been doing now to give everyone a tool to be able to use to have a conversation. So you're on the phone with someone, you're trying to earn their business. It may be as simple as that, but sometimes we have to go into presentation of this is what we actually do and this is who we are. So that's what this is. So this is going to be used across the board. I know I'm talking to you, Jeff, which you've already seen it, but for the ones that are on the recording, I want you guys to have a recording, and we'll have another separate recording that we do this on as well. Like I said, I just want to walk through what each slide is for. I'm not going to do it in presentation mode, but what that looks like. But this is the welcome slide, just conversation. Talk about financial competitive value. So whatever your value is, this can change, but this is a very simple slide that just talks about our community, what we're doing, and getting to know them basically, and what the mission is. This is the ask. So you're already having the ask put in up front. By the time this meeting is done, they know what you're looking for. It is our hope that whoever it is would have the opportunity to earn at least one of your carrier contracts and prove our value to you as a trusted business partner. So they already know by the end of this meeting what we are looking for from them. So that's important. Outside of that, this is listing the problems that we see in the financial services industry. Specifically, and be specific, is with IMOs in general, and relationships in that space. So our core belief is that we believe the insurance and financial service industry is fragmented. So you can talk a little bit about that. And that means a lot of different things, to a lot of different people, but and you can ask, sorry, I'm going to stop myself. I'm not going to get in presentation mode. Jeff, just wave your hand like you slapped me in the face to stop me, okay? The idea being is that we believe the industry is fragmented, going over these reasons and really hitting home with them of this is what we see in the independent insurance marketing space with GAs, MGAs, IMOs, FMOs, and things like that. There are problems. There are some great places out there, hands down. We're not here to bash them, but these are things that we've seen in the industry, and you're just going to walk through them and try and find and pinpoint some that, and Dennis did a good job of that in the presentation, of just opening up to them and asking, well, which one of these applies most to you? Or which one hits home for you? And have a conversation. This whole presentation is not designed as strictly a presentation mode where you're doing all the talking. Like, the idea is to try and be a little bit interactive with it. But same thing. Then here's the problems. That's what these are for. And here is a little bit of our solution. So we can help consolidate all these things that they're doing, and they're probably getting from a lot of different places, in one practice, and possibly for less, depending on what they're doing. So box number one is the complete platform, the technology, the wholesale platform, the network, the back office systems. Carriers and compensation, we have lots of access to that. We have multiple vertical marketplaces. We have limited distribution carriers, typically street level or above. Compensation transparency. So that's important on that side. Programs and services, you can pick some. I just picked a few that I usually talk about, but pick ones that are important to you and you can talk about. And just mention that these are some of the things that we have that help other agents. And we're constantly adding technologies, tools to our bag of tricks so that you don't have to search for them. Because the only ones that we bring on are ones that someone's already using and has had success with, or makes sense, or we've done enough research to say, oh, this is what this looks like. Or this is how it affects agents' practice, and they should have that in their portfolio. Excuse me. Support then, new business processing, contracting. We have everything that other IMOs have to help them with their back end, their back office support team. So that's what those 4 slides are for. Just hitting that really at a high level overview, because that's how we provide some of those solutions. And then these slides are all to make it real for them. The idea that we have distribution partners and we have service partners. So distribution partners are people that actually have products, tangible things that agents can sell for their clients. So BMT is health under 65 health insurance. 3MARC is life annuities. Senior market sales is Medicare. Tennyson Capital Partners is traditional premium financing. Berkshire Advisor Resources is disability. Asher Group is life settlements. Kaizen is non-traditional premium financing, and Firefly is P&C. There's other ones that we have on here, but those are the main ones and main product lines. So you can talk about all that we are different because we're the gateway to all these different places. You yourself, full transparency, you can go to each one of these places yourself. But if you go to each one of these places yourself, you're going to have one marketer at BMT, one marketer at 3MARC, one marketer at Senior Market Sales, one marketer at Tennyson Capital, one marketer over here. And that is confusing as all get up. And unfortunately, that's what most agents do to get access to the products that they actually need in their practice.
You have to have 8 different phone calls, 8 different phone numbers, and so on and so forth.
So that's what we saw as part of a problem, because most agents and agencies have, 2, 3, 4, 5 different IMO relationships. We're here to be the gateway so that we can consult with you on which ones you actually need and which relationships those are going to help your practice the best. And we're not pigeonholed to any one of these relationships. We have a lot of other relationships in the industry as well. And that's what we're here to help you out with. So that's our distribution partners. Our service partners are tools, technologies, services. We could throw programs and things like that in here that aren't actually products to help your clients, but have products or tools that help you run your practice better. So integrity and insurance is we call it the 3I community for short. It's a community of like-minded agents. We have a closed Facebook group that we share materials in and have conversations about. It's by far not huge at all, but this is for everyone that's contracted or has a membership with us to be able to have that conversation and work sideline to other people in the industry and what's happening and what they're doing that's successful. Blue Rocket Digital, that we actually own this company. That's a digital media company. We're not crazy in this. We're not doing like pay-per-click stuff and SEO, but really this is designed for basic branding, websites, landing pages, social media, getting those things set up. That doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to do, because that's why we own it, so we can control that cost. Because we don't want you to pay, we don't want to make more money in these services than through production. And that puts us together in what we're doing, which is why Blue Rocket Digital is important. HubSpot's one of our premier CRM partners that we have. Connected is a LinkedIn automation tool that allows you to generate more conversations and leads using LinkedIn. That picture that doesn't have the name on it, that's Agency Rocket. That is a IUL software that has a built-in sales funnel and built-in sales process for IULs that is beautifully done. Annuities Genius, we have a relationship where we get a free annuity database that's better than a lot of other places out there, like oh gosh, what's the other big annuity rate watch. So I think this is better than a lot of those other places like this. And on top of that, that's the free version. We're just getting access to a database, but they have a program that if you want to, if you're selling some annuities, or you want to sell more annuities, or you're selling tons of annuities, but need to refine your process, they have an amazing platform that is compliant proof, that has access to all those and shares a presentation and a sales process much more beautifully than the illustrations that carriers usually have. So they do a phenomenal job with that. And then G Suite is one of the main partners that we have in the email service and their platform, because some agents are working with different platforms. They don't know which one to use, or their platforms don't talk to each other. So we help out with that. And we have others. This is just scratching the surface. We have tons of other service partners as well. But that's what this is basically, is we have service partners. And again, same philosophy. We're here to help you show which one of these are going to be best for you. These are some of our vertical marketplaces: life, annuity, Medicare, LTC, disability, under 65 health insurance, PNC, AUM. We have platforms and partners in each one of these areas. Suppose we should put ancillary products on there as well. But carriers, so we have an extensive list of carriers, but this is your opportunity to take what we just did before and highlight one or two carriers. Highlight AIG Partners Group, highlight Global Atlantic, highlight Mutual of Omaha, highlight Symetra, whatever it is that you're familiar with that you may think that these people may want to know about, or highlight NatGen or Philadelphia American, health insurance carriers. That's what this is. Don't spend too much time on this, but one, maybe two carriers, just as an example. This is what we help you do, is we understand these carriers, and we're here to help you, show you a way where you can implement them within your practice that's going to help you write more business and not leave money on the table. So that's what that's for. Programs, again, you can highlight one or two programs. Just go over them really briefly. Services for agents. So I went into way too much in depth when I went through that other service slide. That's what this is really for, is just highlighting, going into a little bit more depth of one or two places that you think is going to be pertinent from the know about, and actually explaining what they are. So like I said, I kind of did that. I went through each one of those service partners and I explained what they did. basically you would just show them, we have different service partners. I'm going to take a deep dive, a little bit deeper dive into one or two of those in a little bit. And that's what this is. So that's where you do what I did back then, you do here. And then support team. So again, this just allows you to talk about, I am not alone. Like, this is not just me, especially if you're doing a one-on-one with somebody. We have a whole team of people that focus and are experts in a lot of different areas. And this just gives you the idea. This is, again, just scratching the surface of some of the people that are on our team. And then this slide, Jeff, you've seen it, but this is using an example. So you can pull someone from the crowd, or if it's just one person, you're illustrating the idea. Well, we sit down and we have a conversation, and we kind of have a consulting meeting. I ask about your practice. I ask what your focuses are, ask what you're currently doing, ask where you want to go, what are your goals. And through a conversation, I'm taking notes and thinking of what's going to be the best fit as kind of your individualized package, because we have way too much stuff going on in what we're doing. There's no way that you're going to be able to sift through all of it and be like, all right, well, I need that thing, that thing, that thing. That is what our job is here for. So, oops, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I'm agreeing.
Yeah. So the idea of your success platform is we take everything that we have, and based upon what you told us that you're looking for and what you're looking to accomplish, we take those things and tell you, based on what I'm hearing, these are our recommendations. So this is just a basic example. Like, this could be different for each agency, for each person. But the idea is that your carriers, maybe this is your carrier mix that accomplishes, the vast majority of all the business that you're going to write. Your team, so these are the people at these different places that are going to be the backbone to help you out in different areas. So Praxis, 3Mark, BMT. 3Mark is the life and annuity side. BMT is the under health 65 health insurance side. Praxis is our agency consulting company. So this is where this platform was built off of. Wella Financial is one of our career shop agencies. So maybe that fits in what you're trying to accomplish as well. Your technologies, could be lots of different things, but we talk about different areas that are going to help you get to where you want to go. And then your programs, we highlight a few programs that may help you, and you talk about each one of these basically. But that's what the success platform is about. That's what our job is to help you determine which of these tools is going to fit within your practice, because it's going to be different for each one. We are not a cookie cutter organization where we're just talking about, here's your carriers, please write with us, but figure out your own stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the point that you're illustrating within this.
Yeah. And that's their foundation, if you will. But what I personally like about it, Nathan, is that it now raises also a curiosity of what they may be missing or what they want to grow into.
Yes.
So here's where we're starting. Here's your foundation. And now with all these other services, may not be necessary right now, but you don't have to go outside us.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can even put it this way, if you find something or you're using something right now that is amazing for your practice, our core belief is, once again, that we believe it's better for us to work together rather than against each other. The end user in our model is not the agent, it is the client. And by us hoarding and keeping things to ourselves, there's very few things that are truly proprietary within this industry. So if it's something that can help everyone, then we believe it's important to mention. So if you have a tool that you're using, and because of our distribution, a lot of times we're able to go to that service provider or that lead company or whatever it is and say, well, hey, we would love to bring you on and have you be part.
You're not coming through. Can you hear me? If you could hear, if you could hear me, I can't hear you.
Hold on.
There, now you can.
Test 1 2. Now you can.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened. That's weird.
Sounded like Minnie Mouse was trying to get on the line.
I have no idea. Anyways, yeah, that's what this is designed for. That's where I was getting. And what I was saying is that if they're using something or a lead vendor, technology, a service, a lot of times we can go to that place because of our distribution and bring them onto our community and get a discount for them. We're very open, and that's how we add a lot of these tools, because agents we're working with bring this to us, say, I'm using this. This is why it's amazing. Oh, let us have a conversation with them. Like, I'm getting off track, but Annuity Genius as an example, like that came from one of the agents that we work with. And because of our distribution now, we get a $20 a month discount on their paid package, which, I mean, that adds up. That's $240 a year for an agent that we were able to get for them because of our distribution. We were having conversations with the owners. All right. So that's what this is. This definitely has to change. But put in your mission. This is not a mission statement. This was when I think I didn't even notice it, but we copied and pasted it from something else previously. But this is not an actual mission statement. Like, practice, our mission statement, for as an example, is to be the largest distribution force within the independent wholesale space by creating a dynamic team of affiliate marketing offices and business development advisors to help agents accomplish their goals. That's a mission statement. This is what we provide. It's not a mission. But put in your mission. What is your why? And just be able to express that very simply. And then core values. If you have your own core values, you can always change these. But these are the 4 things that we believe in how we're doing. Serve others with our intent, actions, work, and time. Create a culture of transparency, respect, act with integrity in everything we do, and affect change through partnership, relationship, and education. So, and then the last thing is next steps. So if this is something that, you like what you heard, we would love to be able to help you. The next step is to have an exploratory meeting with one of our business development advisors, which if in a group setting, then this makes more sense. If it's just you, then next step is to, let's have that meeting. Let's talk about what that looks like. And don't forget the second part is be clear with that. After that, whether it's having that exploratory meeting to have more conversations, or they like what they hear already and they want to start working with us, I can send you over contracting to have that conversation and get contracted with one of our carriers, maybe one of the carriers that we talked about earlier, and then we go from there. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of the presentation. I spent a little bit more time than I wanted on it, but I kind of figured that was going to happen.
Not by much.
Yeah, Jeff, you didn't keep me didn't keep me on it.
Nah.
Use that. I'm going to put that in the band. So it will be a file in there. I'll also throw it in the Google Drive as well. So it'll be in both places, but we're really trying to move because Band actually opened up, where you can have folders and things like that. We can organize data. Most information is all going to be using that Band app. So log in with your computer or your phone, and it's going to be at your fingertips right away so that you can use all that. Good luck, Jeff.
I'm getting there.
I know you are. All right. So last other thing, and then for this, and then Jeff, I just want to spend a minute or two coming from the meeting, but event-based marketing. So we're going to be doing some things that we're going to be putting on for agents in the future. So as an example, I just posted on the Band before, but Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 5 to 7 Central Standard Time. Our health insurance partner is hosting a health insurance basic training 101. So if you know anybody that wants to get into the health insurance space, or even, for everyone's hearing this recording, because I know you guys will listen to it afterwards. If you guys want to hear about it yourself, to hear what's happening with that, that's a great training to be a part of. We are going to record it. We will share it with everyone afterwards as well, but nothing beats live training. So if you know anybody that's looking to get into the under 65 health insurance arena, whether it be individual or group, then that is a great meeting to invite them to. And again, all the Zoom link is in the band group. It's also set up as an event. So grab that information on there and share it with anybody that you know. That's the health insurance arena side. We were looking at doing a LinkedIn, the connected tool on the 26th, but we haven't, shame on me, I have not done any marketing or gotten that information out there.
Is the date secured? Is that the actual date?
That is the date, but I think we're going to push it back to June sometime.
Okay, so you're going to reschedule it.
Yeah, we don't have any we don't have anybody registered right now, and we've got a couple other things going on next week. So
okay.
I will have a conversation with everyone and talk about, we'll probably push it to mid-June, and then I'll make sure everyone gets the information, and we can invite the people that that we know that we'd be looking for to just talk about lead generation, basically using LinkedIn.
Just an FYI, the 23rd and 24th of June, I know a lot of people are not going to be available. I say a lot. There's probably going to be some. Well, NAFA has their
that's right,
meeting downstate on those 2 days. So I don't know how many are attending, but it could have an impact.
Yeah, we'll try and do it before. We'll probably do it the week beforehand then. But and then carriers then also are starting to open up their internal their marketers to start to be able to travel in July. So we're going to be putting on maybe July, August. We'll probably put on 1 or 2 lunch and learns while they're doing them at a restaurant, or we'll do them out here in the office. And usually we have anywhere between 10 to 30 agents join those different things. So, and that's a local thing. So agents around the area. And then we'll do some virtual stuff as well. But that's a more intimate setting. They can get more information. They get to meet us, et cetera, et cetera. So that's some of the things that we have going on the pipeline. There'll be more stuff that we put together as well. We'll probably do I'll probably set up a webinar for next month with one of the carriers. And this will be an agent-facing webinar, not for just the marketers, but for you to invite any agent that you're working with. Hey, we're doing a carrier training on this, and this is why you should come. So that's just an FYI. Any other questions on your end, Jeff?
No.
All right. Well, then with that said, stay on for a second, but I'm just going to wrap up the recording. So on that note, 3 things we went over was we did a recap of the 3 carriers that we had out. So Mutual Omaha, AIG Partners Group, Global Atlantic. We went through a walkthrough of the presentation really quick. Again, that's going to be in the band and in the Google Drive, so you can pull that. If you need us to change logos or anything like that, just let us know, or you can do that yourself as well if you're familiar with PowerPoint. And then just be aware of event-based marketing. Keep updated and check band every once in a while, so that you can see, because that's where all the events are going to be that we're putting on, that you can either attend yourself or invite agents to. So leverage that and share that information with other people. With that said, everyone have a great day on the recording. And then Jeff, you and I will talk for a minute afterwards. But thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to the recording, everyone. All right.